Okay, so I have a question for you guys. Who can tell me, boys, can I get your attention please? Jack, can you look at me please? Okay, I know it's kind of noisy in here, but try to keep your attention on me, alright? So who can tell me what this is? Everybody get a chance to look at it. Does it look kind of familiar? Troy, what do you think? Quotation mark. Very good. Yes, this is a quotation mark. Well, this is the starting quotation mark. So sometimes it looks upside down, but that's just the way it curves naturally. So who can tell me why we use quotation marks? Jack? Exactly, to tell when people are speaking. We also use quotation marks for a different reason. Can anybody think of a different reason? We say it when people are speaking, and we also use it at other times. Yes, ma'am. When people are being sarcastic, very good. And there's one more. Jack, what do you think? Right? It can be used when people are thinking. Okay, so another time that you use a quotation mark is, I'll go ahead and tell you guys, is when you are referring to a piece of work, like the title of something. For example, Troy has this book, The Last Apprentice. So if you use that in a sentence, Troy is reading The Last Apprentice, you would put quotation marks around it. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about some rules of quotation marks. Troy, can you please put that marker over there? And I want you guys to be writing down the rules onto your index cards that I've given you. So does everybody have a pencil? Ishmael, go ahead and grab a pencil real quick, and then we'll start the rules. You may use them. That's totally fine. Okay, here he is. Okay, so rule number 1 of quotation marks. This is what I want you to write down on your paper. Quotation marks always come in pairs. Quotation marks always come in pairs. That means if there's one quotation mark, there always needs to be an ending quotation mark. Yes, sir. Yes, sometimes we put apostrophes instead of the full quotation marks, but that is something that we're not going to be talking about today, but that is a great point. Okay, so, like I said, quotation marks, we always use them in pairs. So if you start with one, you need to end with one, so you indicate where the person stops talking. So I have an example here. Hey! Somebody's yelling, hey. Okay, here's the start of their quote and the end of their quote. You see, we have 2. That way people know that's where they stopped talking and this is where they started talking. Okay?
Oh, that's why one's reading. Okay, so look. Quotation mark and then underscore.
Okay, rule number 2. Go ahead and write down rule number 2. Rule number 2 is the starting quotation mark always starts after punctuation. So write that down on your card. The starting, it is a lot, but you guys can write it. It's no more than one sentence. The starting quotation mark always starts after the punctuation mark. Okay? And then there's an example right here. I have underneath. When will we eat dinner? And you can see there's the comma here, and then after the comma, we have the punctuation mark. Very good. See that, Ishmael? I want to make sure everybody gets a good look at it. That there.
Is it okay if I can do this?
Yes, you can touch this if you need to. Okay. Are you guys ready to move on to rule number 3? No? Okay, here's rule number 2 so you can still look at it. Who still needs time to write down rule number 2? Okay, we'll give you some more time. Matthew, if you need a little bit more time, that's fine. Okay, and then look at me when you guys are done writing rule number 2 so I know we can move on. Look at me when you're finished. Okay, Jack, are you finished? Yes. Very good. Okay. Rule number 3. Rule number 3 of quotation marks. The ending quotation mark is placed after the punctuation mark as well. The ending quotation mark is placed after the punctuation mark as well. Ending quotation mark is after the punctuation mark. So you see we have our example here. How are you? There's the question mark and then the quotation mark. Jack, can you please sit up there? Okay. Who is all finished with rule number 3? You guys all finished? Very good. Okay. Last rule, guys. Last rule. Hang with me here. This is the last rule, and then we're going to move over to some activities. This one's a little longer. Quotation marks are used around the title of a book or other pieces of work.
Wait, are there 5 here?
There's just 4 rules that we're going to go over today. Can you write down the Giver? I really like this book. I'm glad to hear that you guys read it. Ishmael, did you write down the rule book? Please write it down.
So the first one is
Netflix.
So if any writers and this one has one. You're going to take your words and you're going to make them present tense. When you make it present tense, I want you to write
Okay. Alright guys, so I'm going to show you some examples about what I just talked about. Set that there. Matthew and Jack, can you guys please look up at me? Okay, so when somebody is speaking, that's when we use quotation marks. So today, we're going to use Mr. Bob as an example. Mr. Bob, note, please put your hands down again. That's kind of fun. Okay, so it is. Okay, so Mr. Bob today, he's going to tell us something. What did Mr. Bob want to tell us? Blah, blah, blah. That's all Mr. Bob has to say. And you know, that's okay. Okay, so Mr. Bob said blah, blah, blah. Is there something missing in this sentence?
Yes, quotation marks and commas.
Brilliant! We're missing quotation marks and commas. And a period. That's very good, Jack. So, where would our quotation marks go in this sentence? Wow, very good, guys. Okay. And then we have a period that needs to go in here also. In the other quotation mark.
Period.
Okay, hold on, Jack. Hold on.
I'm trying.
Quiet for a second. I'm going to ask you a question. Okay, so do you guys think, now raise your hand to answer, do you guys think it's period and then quotation mark, or quotation mark and then period, based off of the rules that we went over today? Okay, think about it for a second. Okay, go ahead, Matthew.
Yes.
Period, then quotation mark. Very good. Okay, now what if, we'll change the sentence around. it starts with blah, blah, blah. And then instead of said, we're going to say shouted. So blah, 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 shouted Mr. Bob.
That makes sense too.
Okay, so that means we don't need where is my... That means we're going to need an exclamation point, right? Okay, and quotation marks. So where does the first quotation mark go? Who can tell me? Oh, very good, Ishmael. Okay. And then we need our ending quotation mark. Now, which goes first? The exclamation point? Hold on. You gotta raise your hand. Thank you, Jack. Okay, so after blah, 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 does the quotation mark go first or the exclamation point? Think about it for a minute, guys. Review your rules if you need to. Jack, what do you think? The exclamation point goes first. Because remember, our rule number 3 says the ending quotation mark goes after. We don't need a comma because we have the exclamation point right here. And then we end with a period. Okay? And the same goes if it was a question. If Mr. Bob said blah, 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 our question mark, and then a quotation mark. Does that make sense? Do you guys have any questions? Oh, you're right. We need to put an out right here. Okay. Right. Okay, does anybody have a question about the order that we put these in?
What?
You guys understand this pretty well, the order that we're putting them in? Any questions?
Can I draw Mr. Bob?
Okay. No, we won't be drawing Mr. Bob today. But we will be moving on to a different activity. Thank you, sir. Okay. So everybody's going to get a sentence.
You just underline the first one.
And what you need to do is you need to put the sentence in order correctly, putting the quotation marks, there you go, Ishmael, in the right spot. Okay? So you can go ahead and take the paper clip out and rearrange your sentence so that you can see every word and every punctuation mark and put it in the correct order. Excellent. Okay, now you guys all did very good. So now put all your colored the same sentence together. Make sure you have all the same color, and then pass it to the person on your left. Okay, good job, guys. Now put all the sentence back together and then hand it next to the person on your left. Okay, guys. So I'm pretty excited about this last activity. Let's see how you guys feel about it. What we're going to do is I'm going to put you in pairs. So today we're going to have Ishmael and Jack in a pair and Troy and Matthew in a pair. And I'm going to give you each a topic and you guys get to make a skit based off of that topic. So you guys can plan it together. But you need to write a script for your skit, okay? Okay? So when you write down your script, there's a couple of rules that we need to be following, okay? First of all, you need to be following, boys, are you listening? You need to be following all of your quotation mark rules. Also, you need to have at least 5 sentences of a quotation inside your skit. So you would say, like, Troy said, I want to go to the candy shop, or bacon shop, and period. Jack replied, me too, period. So that would be considered 2 sentences, okay? Okay, so go ahead and sit next to your partner. Jack and Ishmael are already sitting by each other. Troy, you might want to move over here next to Matthew, and I will give you your topics to be talking about, okay? Thank you for putting that all. And you guys will need a sheet of paper.
Now I want to go down to the bacon shop.
Now you're feeling like going down the bacon shop? Okay, boys. So your topic is going to be how to make a bacon. Your topic is going to make
We need to make
Now you're going to need to get out a sheet of paper. and write it together. Okay guys, one more sentence and then I'm going to have you go back to your seats and do it. You guys are good. Can you please write your names on it so I know who made it?